Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the One Talk podcast. You're here with your hosts, Ryan and Gowdy.
Hello.
Hello.
We've got a special guest.
We've got a special guest. I want to do like a little brief introduction of who we've got on. We have got the founder of Dad's Community, the number one Dad's Community, not just on Facebook, but in the whole bloody world, mate.
Yes, sir.
The impact that you're making on dads around this world and within like a 3-month span so far has been epic, brother. So I want to welcome Lord Stephen Charlie Hirst from the Dad's Community.
I love it, brother. Say it again.
Lord.
Honestly, man, it's I just never thought something this great could be done in so quick a time. But it just shows to me that all I've done is create a space, but it's drawn so many good men and good dads out there just wanting to better themselves for their children. Just shows that's why I've created, because I know there's good men out there in the world, and I know they just want to be a great dad.
Yeah,
and they just
100%.
want to have that space where they feel safe, not judged, and just find some mateship as well, I think, with people that are just a good men. So, like I said, I've just created the space, and then, all these beautiful men have come our way. So, it's been great, man.
Especially
Love that, bro.
men too, like we crave brotherhood, eh?
100%.
Yeah, so
that.
having that community, that's the good thing about social media now. Like, you don't have to go out your house to have that brotherhood. Like, you can go online and find like-minded people, so much more accessible, and it's a lot more of a chance to be more vulnerable too, because it's a lot easier to open up that way first, and eventually when you meet people, you can step into that next phase. So I really love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
100%.
it. Yeah, my heart's definitely in it. So it's probably the first time my heart has generally been in a job, if I could say it's a job. You know, it doesn't feel like one. I can tell you that. When you're serving people with your passion, your heart, and, you're seeing people grow in such a short space of time, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So very blessed.
Tell us a bit by why Dad's Community.
Yeah, so just thinking back, really, to be honest, like, obviously I wanted to do something within my own terms, I wanted to do something I was passionate about. As a lot of us men and dads and just people in general, sometimes you leave school, you're in your 9-to-5 job, you're not happy, life's about purpose, I find, and for me, I was always searching for that purpose, that thing I was passionate about. And after a fair amount of challenges and trauma, with my relationship, and coming out of that, a lot of growth, I found myself a little bit more present and working on myself, and things started dropping, and I realised that for me, the best job in the world and the one that, I want to be the best version of is being a dad.
Yeah.
And
that's inspiring.
Thanks,
right.
bro.
Yeah. That's inspiring.
Appreciate
I think that's so important to like embrace and like what you're doing with it, with your own story is so like inspiring. It is.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate you.
100%.
For me, like, honestly, because the more I started sharing my story out there, the more men started stepping up and talking about their feelings and their challenges. And I found it healing talking about my own. And I just started gravitating. All these men started coming to me, and I was like, this is incredible, but where's the space for them where, they all could come together and in times like COVID and all the challenges on top of just normal life and relationships and children and your workplace, community is everything, and that's what gets us through. Power in numbers, you can't do it alone. So for me, I wanted to create that space out there. Like I said, there's a lot of good men, good dads out there, but for me, I wished when I was in my relationship with the challenges I had and being a father and having children coming in the world, I realised for me, I wished I had that space.
Yeah, 100%.
Of like-minded men just wanting to better themselves, find that mateship, make each other accountable, call each other out from a kind position because they want the best for you, because they can see within you could be incredible. So for me, it was, I just wished I had that space, and I guess that was another driving factor for me to create that space for the men out there. And it's just, obviously it's flourishing.
From the day I met you too, like, you've always embraced the meaning of community. Thanks. Like, ever since I've known you, it's just community. Like, that is a big belief
Yeah.
for you, bro. Like I know, like when we first started Mastermind together, it was all about the community, not just about achieving goals and doing all this and that. Even though we do want those outcomes, but it's mainly about the community aspect of it. So I guess could you go into a bit more detail for us about community and I guess at a time when you didn't have community and then when you first started to realize like how important that would be
Great
as
question.
well.
Great question, mate. For me, community. So, like, I grew up on the Gold Coast. Like, as an adult, I grew up on the Gold Coast, and one thing I realised is there was a lack of community within that area because of obviously it's a tourist destination, a lot of hospitality. Yeah. So, if you were having your challenges and your troubles, there's nowhere you could really go to for support. Yeah, so you're sort of isolated, alone, and that's when probably people go back to community. So they go and fly back to wherever they've come from. And what I've realised is when I've done a lot of travelling around the world, I've realised that a lot of cultures, community is a huge thing. Family's not just within the household. Family is a lot larger than that.
Yeah.
It's not just blood. It's everything else, like villages, small towns, etc. And the places that do really well have a really great community with good people wanting to support each other. And I don't know, there's just a belonging that I wanted. I wanted to be part of that. And so that for me, it was really, really about that. Like I thought, how cool would it be to have dads having their own community? I thought that'd be incredible, So.
That is incredible, bro. And what, Ryan said, the first time I met you as well at Mastermind, the one held up the coast. Yeah, you just gave me that vibe, bro. You just gave me like a brotherhood vibe. Because I think you had our table.
Yes, sure did, mate.
So yeah, it just gave me like a whole brotherhood energy. Yes. So it was so good to hear this because it made sense for because I never thought about it, but until Ryan told me you started a dad's community, I was like, that makes sense. I can see why you're doing this. I feel like you have a good like heart that you're putting out to the world for this movement, and for dads. It's very hard for dads to speak up, you know what I mean? And I'm lucky that I have Ryan, so I get to speak about my problems to him. But a lot of people don't even have what you're saying, like a community of brothers to talk to and
correct,
kind of get their problems off and be judged in a healthy way, to be better, the best version of themselves. So it's important what you're doing. I really believe that this is so important for society, really, because with my own experience of coming from a village and coming to Australia, I had to adapt to understanding that there's not really a village community society life. Everyone just kind of goes home and then they have their own private lives. So I kind of had to understand that, because back in Papua New Guinea, everyone's just like family, just because they've grown up right next to each other for generations. So it's like a village. Yes. So I understood that a lot of people here are struggling because of this situation where they're not, just venting about their problems to each other. And I think in a healthy way, venting is so good because you get to get your stuff off and other people will give you good advice. And so it's really important to hear that you're doing this, and I'm proud of it, bro.
Appreciate you, mate. Really do. And I think the more people talk about their challenges, because I know for me, when I was thinking about these things in my head and feeling these challenges, I actually felt like I was the only one going through these challenges and I didn't feel normal. But then the more I spoke up about it, the more people came out and said, I'm feeling this way too. I'm feeling this way. Yeah. Put things a lot in perspective for me. And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. So yeah, that brotherhood is an important thing for me. But one thing I've been loving and I'm super proud of is when I've posted on the community pages, 99% of the people that are all for it and tagging other people in it, the women, the females, the partners, the loved ones that just want really good for their men or their brothers, the father of their children, however, because they realise how important it is for a space for them. So it's not a female versus male thing, because I can guarantee that the ladies in their life are more than supportive of this space, which is incredible. And I'm really proud of them for supporting them.
Definitely.
And for me, like obviously I'm in the situation where I'm a single man coming out of a relationship and I've got my children. But if I could like save a relationship by giving a man a space to be able to talk safely about his challenges and issues, then go back into his household with less anxiety, stress, resentment, depression, whatever it may be, because he's found a place where just a community where he feels safe.
Feels safe, yeah.
Then his family's going to be better for it. His relationship will flourish. His relationship with his children will flourish. More importantly, the relationship within himself, the love for himself will shine. And like at the end of the day, I think we all dream of having a forever family under one household. The reality is it doesn't turn out like that all the time, but it can. And it can more often if obviously we create a space, a community that supports each other, has each other's back. And I feel like obviously a lot of us men can be in our masculine a lot, so we don't step too much in our feminine to be able to talk about feelings, communication, and it can lead to all sorts of sad circumstances, where if we're not talking about challenges or issues or whatever, our relationship will break down. We'll also basically remove ourselves from our children's lives because it's just too hard. The pain is too much. And because, obviously we're working within ourselves, providing the tools and skills, having someone there to communicate with, to bounce off, to keep us accountable. So when we obviously stick around for longer, be able to embrace the situations, the challenges ahead of us instead of running away from that. And, the worst case scenario is a lot of men obviously in that being not in their, the best communicators will suppress stuff a lot, and turn to alcohol, drugs, suicide, which, breaks my heart. So, providing that space for these men, and, if we can save a relationship with themselves, with their partner, with their kids, one or the other, I think that'd be quite incredible.
Saving lives, bro. That's saving
100%.
lives.
And one key thing you said before too, like a lot of relationship problems, people think the best way to cope and to overcome relationship problems is to work on the relationship. But majority of the time it's working on self-love, and begin that self-journey. If you focus so much on the relationship, but no one works on themselves individually, it's not going to work until you bring the healing into yourself.
Correct. And I was guilty.
That's so true.
And I was so guilty of I thought I was the best husband ever. Reflecting on it, no, I wasn't. I was putting so much love, I thought, into my relationship. I was giving, and not working within myself. And after time, resentment builds up. Then, we would say things that wasn't healthy. The energy in the room wasn't healthy, etc. Because, I wasn't setting boundaries for myself. I thought, as society says, and it's the same for the mums, the mums give and give, and the dads give and give, but we stop and don't look after ourselves, work on ourselves, have a growth mindset, that self-love, get around the right environment of people. And that's why I've created this space for the men to sort of have that growth mindset, to support each other through all that.
Right. That's so real. And my stepdad committed suicide in 2017, and I feel like this is exactly what men need. They need, because he used to go away for work 3 weeks to a month at a time, come back 2 weeks, and then go back to the oil rigs. And when he'd come back, he'd just be drinking the whole time. He didn't really have friends, so he'd always be like wanting to hang out with us kids. But he was always drunk, so we would resent him.
Yep.
But then when he'd come sober, he was like so like ashamed of what, like when he was drunk. And you saying this is just like, fuck, I really wish that there was something like this around at that time, because I would have been like, bro, go hang out with his dads, like it's so important, because like the people and like in that situation just turn to substances so easily. And every time he'd leave, I feel sorry, because he'd try to make us believe that he'd be coming back and he wouldn't be drinking, and he'd come back and it'd be the same thing, because he was just sad being alone. and like,
But could you imagine if he had found a mate within that community that believed in him,
yeah,
made him accountable, getting around the right environment
Yeah.
of people that said, "Hey, mate, you got these beautiful children, like be around me more.
yeah,
We're going to go and kick the footy. We're
100%.
going to go fishing, or we're going to do all these things." And he's like, "Yeah, cool. Let's do that." That's those sort of things. I think that mateship is what men truly crave.
Yeah,
like a
that's
good,
it.
solid mate. Like,
Yeah,
that
So
you can-
true.
You can just sit and talk around, and just a nice vibe, a great
Yeah.
energy around there. You don't even have to talk. Like you just
Yeah.
know you're in great company. Yeah. And another thing is, like for me is the community. Like it takes courage for a man to join it in the first place. Like to actually know that either the pain's too much and he needs to is searching, or he realizes that I've got to work on myself. I'm going to take the step. I'm going to join this community. There's men obviously that speak up quite regularly in there, but I'm just as proud as the men that sit back and observe conversations. I know there's a lot of men that just sit there observing, all the conversations, all the feedback, the challenges, and they're like, I just know that gives them a sense of peace, knowing that they're not the only one there.
Not alone.
Not alone, and they can apply these things, because some people, we're not all extroverted, they're introverted, we're shy. But like I said, again, it's that safe space for everyone from any dynamic, from any background, they can go into there and feel comfortable.
That's the importance of mateship too. Like I've said this story a few times. I think I've told you too, but Galdi used to come around the place I was living at the time with we dated two sisters, so he'd come around with my ex-missus' sister, and my ex-missus used to come in the room like, "Oh, Bill's here," and then she would be like, "Oh, don't be rude, come and say hello," but I'd be like having chronic anxiety, like I couldn't fucking leave the room. I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Then Bill would come in and be like, "Oh, let's just go have a cigarette in the balcony." I'm like, "All right." Like even though I've known Bill for years before this, like that's just how bad my anxiety got. And then over time, just having that mateship and someone by your side through a time like that just shows how important it is to have like a mateship, have a community of brothers that believe in you and will push you past that uncomfortable zone. Because it was really uncomfortable for me at times, but having someone by your side like that does believe in you and just wants to see the best for you is so important in life.
100%, bro, 100%. And like what you said is so true. When you have a good mate, like, and he's done it to me, it's gone vice versa, like it goes vice versa all the time, because life isn't just the up, it's always up and down. So when you have a real mate, it goes back and forth, and that's what people need and men need, like they need that mate to just be strong, and then you weigh on each other, that's what it's all about, and it's so important.
That's so true. You need a mate to be strong for you.
Yeah.
In times when you don't feel strong.
That's it.
So if you've got someone who's being strong for you, then gives you belief that you can be strong too. And that's the good thing about that community aspect, because I guarantee if you get an example in somewhere like the dad's community, there's going to be one strong person there that's going to help someone else out. Yeah. And that ripple effect is going to change lives.
Correct. So I was heavily involved at the start of the creating conversations and stuff. And before not too long, I was able to sit back and just watch other men supporting each other and giving advice and challenge, and it was all positive.
Yeah, that's
like it was all solution minded. If they were going to call someone about the sort of language they were using or having that sort of victim mindset, which is understandable what sometimes people go through. They would, come from a kind place, let them know, let's put a positive spin on it. Let's look at it from another angle. There's always two views, maybe come from a place of empathy, So, it's all these things that, I guess, again, community's about, It's not just one person. It's a gathering of people with the same sort of similar mission.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, because I've seen so many people on the dad's community, probably every single one of them are just a bunch of legends wanting to reach out, have a chat, just be casual, but also be there for support, be there to talk shit, be there to talk about footy, post about the barbecue, have fun, talk about the serious stuff as well. Like it's not just all one thing, like it's actual like a mateship, because like me speaking with Gowdy, we speak about a million things. Me speaking with you, Steve, we speak about a million things. So just seeing that, I guess just going back to community aspect is it's truly important for men obviously women too, but men, because we're speaking about dads specifically at the moment. But yeah, it's good because I know that even when you do your dad's community stuff, like you got stickers, you got hoodies, you got all this stuff. So it's not just like you could probably tell the story again for the podcast because the podcast hasn't heard it, but how you went and some female came up to you and said, "Dad's community." Yeah.
Even today, walking to Starbucks, you know, she had heard about the community through Facebook, a random stranger, and she wanted basically to have her partner involved. She moved up from Melbourne, and that just surprised me how far this thing is.
Yeah, that's
going.
amazing.
So, and I was wearing my hoodie at the time. So, the reason why there's merchandise there, the main purpose for that is getting, you know, the community out there. Yeah, getting it basically out there enough that people are aware that this is a space for these men. Not just for the men to look at, but for their partners, their children. Like, you can be a father and be 50, 60 years of age still, and you're still father, you know what I mean? Like,
That's it.
And you can be an up-and-coming father and worrying and going, where do I go? You know, this is all new to me. Like, you know, I've got these concerns that, you know, am I going to be a good dad? I've got this trauma from the past of my own parents and generational trauma. So if they can find a space where they can ask questions or at least observe what's going on, I think that's incredible. Tell you a story about the reason why I created these stickers, the bumper stickers. So I was going to work, I was on the gateway. A lot of us, males and females, but just talking from a male perspective, that you're going to the job 9 to 5, and you're just stuck in that traffic. Like, it should only be like a 20 or 30 minute drive.
Yeah.
But you're in there more than an hour, and you're like, is this what life's all about? Like, you know, I could be somewhere else doing something differently. And then you start getting all those thoughts in your head, and I'm all alone going through this. You're just getting all these sort of negative thoughts, and you just feel you're alone in all this. And then I thought, could you imagine if you're seeing like a dad's community sticker on in that moment on a car, and you're like, and then you see another one pop, another one, you're like, wow, I'm not the only one alone in all this. There's a community of guys out there. Wonder how they're handling this situation. Wouldn't it be good to vent in a safe space to these guys, yeah? Maybe we can have a laugh about it. Wouldn't that be cool, you know, instead of feeling like we're alone, or just talk about it, you know? So, yeah, it's just those sort of things that, you know, you just want to get the name out there and the community.
Definitely. It's important to do that. It's important to get the name out because it's a good movement, and most of the drivers on the road are, you know, men, really. Driving truckies, you know, tradies, you know, there's definitely a lot of men on the road. So it's such a, because when you drive, you see stickers all the time, like on the back of trucks. So it's such a good idea. You need to put the word out there. Right. And like business cards, I got a few of them. So yeah, it's so important, bro.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And the next Dad's Barbecue, I'm giving out 100 free stickers. So the more dads that can show up, the better. If they can grab a sticker from themselves and for a mate, I think that'd be incredible, because I'm already seeing and hearing, you know, these stickers being out there on the roads, and there was only a small portion that went out. So for me, like I said, get that name out there. The more it's out there, then there's more dads. Hopefully we can create a safe space for sure, and grandfathers and whoever as well.
I want to say too, like, because I think dad's community is not just important for dads, but it's important for people like me. Like, because I watch Gaudi with Cairo, his son. I see you with Taylor and Kai as well. And just seeing the way you two are able to be a father is very inspiring for when I become a dad. Yeah, like, I know the way you are with your children, you have a lot of fun, but you're also present with them. Gaudi has a lot of fun. He's really present with Cairo, and he's both really patient. I think he's a very similar fathers, actually.
I love what you're saying right now. I think it's very important for, you know, men that don't have kids. That's so important, bro. That's a good point of view.
Because I look up to both yous, and I'm like, this is how I should be a father, but put my own flavour to it. But it's just like, it gives me not just more hope, but also a lot of inspiration to becoming a father too, because then I can see the beauty of it. Because I've spoken to a lot of men that have kids, and there is a lot of trauma and a lot of issues going on that they're not working through, and that's the importance of a community. But then also seeing the side of it, which is the beautiful side that I see from you and Gaudi, and also a lot on dad's community too, like the fun side of being a dad, the happy side of being a dad. And yeah, it's very inspiring for me to become a father one day too.
Yeah,
love
thanks,
that.
man. Appreciate
love that. Appreciate that.
Like 100%. I think it's so important, man, because again, I didn't have that role model or mentor when I had my children coming into the world. So I would have loved something like that, to be sit back and observe and bounce off and ask questions. And I think it's incredible, man. You're going to be in a good place for when this happens for you.
Yeah.
And obviously I feel you'd make an incredible dad. But yeah, man, like at least you've got people you can bounce off and ask questions. I think that's important. Truly important.
Yeah. Also just being an observer of the dads community too, because I can see this dads community and it's just a community of dads, and just being able to observe that and watch and listen and learn. Like it's a beautiful experience for someone like myself who doesn't have kids yet but wants kids in the future.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, I want to talk about, because I know you quit your job, you're going full time into dads, and when I first met you, up until you quit your job, like that period, there was a really sparkling light about you. But ever since you went full time with dads, like there just seems like a bigger shift within yourself. Like I've noticed it just within your energy. So I guess, would you like just to talk to us about the importance of following your mission in life?
Yeah. So for me, it's I don't know, it's such a blur, but it's a beautiful blur, if I can say that. Yeah. I feel, albeit like taking it way back. So for me, I've never been fully in love with myself. I actually have never loved myself. Yeah. So I've always, I guess wanted love from other people, so, and trying to feel part of things, and, whether it be a woman or however, that's where I was getting my love from. Started the personal development journey about a couple of years ago, and getting around the right environment with people that started believing in me, opening up my mind a lot more, becoming a little bit more conscious at the same time, because everyone's got it within them. They just got to get around the right environment of people, and wherever you're living as well. Sometimes it's just all energy, really, to be honest. So if you're grounded good at vibrations, good energy, consistently on a daily basis, you sort of start to level up yourself, which is kind of cool. Like I said, I truly didn't know what I wanted to do. But I guess, I've always had the sparkle in my eye because, like I said, I've got good mates around me, sort of trying to live a good life as well, and trying to lead from a kind place. I generally try and believe that if you're a kind person, you'll attract your right tribe of people around you. It may take time, you may be hurt, taken advantage of, but that's just life lessons of your highs and lows and your growth as well. But for me, look, obviously I went through a bit of trauma when I was in my relationship. My ex-wife at the time, she had a brain tumour. We were together at the time. And, obviously, the unknown is pretty hard. Like, you hear brain tumour, you think the worst. Yeah, having two little kids, a 4-year-old at the time and a 2-year-old, was pretty hard. And thinking that they're going to lose the kid, the kids are going to lose their mum, was just heartbreaking. So that sort of created a different sort of perception of life for me, one of gratitude. Now, fantastic news that the brain tumour was benign. They were able to remove it. And but for me, that again helped me sort of see the world a bit differently. So I knew it was on some sort of journey or path. I just didn't know what it was. But then I had to sort of identify what I'm good at, what I love. Because for me, to be honest, I wasn't enjoying my job or working the 9 to 5 sort of thing. I love people, because there's good people everywhere. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to go out there and I guess somehow serve people that want to be served. Yeah. Yeah. I know when you're in a sort of a job and you're a leader or a coach in a job, most people are there for their paycheck. They don't want to be coached or, told what to do, or, they just want to get there, get their pay slip and go. Yeah. But when you're going out and finding a purpose to serve someone, then that's great. I didn't know who I wanted to serve at the time. But until I started to identify what I love, what I wanted to do, and getting some good people around me that started like dropping things for me, thoughts and ideas. And then I realised, hang on, I love being a dad, Like I love it. It just the joy, I've got little people, like it just looking up to me. It's just incredible, Yeah. And then for me, it's like, okay, like my kids don't owe me anything at all, but I owe them everything because they didn't have a choice to come into this world at all. Yeah, for me, I made the choice to have them in the world, and that's what happened. So I owe them everything. Yeah, so I'm giving them absolutely everything of me, but the only way I can do that is working on myself. And I find that I decided, hang on, I'm going to be a dad's mentor, dad's coach, and create a safe space for men. And the more I do that, the more I'm leveling and educating myself as well, which is incredible. You know, that might be through conversations, through reading books, but I find the most beneficial education is actually learning from experiences and having conversations in real life with men and dads and mums and wives and everyone. Basically, everyone's got a view of things. So that's I don't know. I'm just doing everything from the heart, I guess. I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, even peeling back layers too. We'll peel back a couple of layers here because this all would have started from being uncomfortable, this journey. So I guess from like 2 years ago to now, did you envision you'd be here within 2 years? And what was the importance of becoming uncomfortable in that time?
Yeah, all right. So to be honest, envisioning, you know, it's a tough one because self-belief, it's not easy to come across, yeah? We all are conditioned through life in certain aspects. People either say stuff to us or, you know, we're surrounded by, you know, people that, you know, we've got a feeling they don't believe in us or something like that, and you sort of drop that self-belief over time and you have to work at it, hard at it. You have to take extreme ownership in certain situations for your own actions and your own language and your own thoughts and stuff. Once I started doing all that and working within, then for me, I found myself going, hey, look, I know what I want to do. I sort of started seeing a picture because by me working on myself, I was in an uncomfort zone, and that's where the juice of life is, guys, like the uncomfort zone. Like, it's scary getting into that zone. Like, it's very scary. But once you're in it and you get through it, you get the biggest high in life because you've just grown and leveled up, and that is so addictive. Yeah. And you realised everyone else will benefit around you too, which is incredible. And then you attract all the people in the life that, you know, that are sort of similar minded. So that's, like I said, getting in the uncomfort zone, being uncomfortable is where the juice of life is. And, you know, we've all been in the uncomfort zone, in the comfortable zone. And I'm just telling everyone out there, just really remember when you're in the uncomfortable zone, you got through it. Yeah. And just remember, even if you failed in it, and I'd like to take that word out of it, but at the end of the day, it's a learning being in that moment, because even if you failed, you've actually leveled up. You've actually taken something from that moment. You've taken a risk in life, where a lot of people aren't taking the risk. They haven't got the courage in that because the fear's too much.
It's so important. Because like, going to a bit back to me with my story, like, because it relates to what you're saying. Like 4 years ago when I was talking about like the anxiety and Bill taking me out onto the balcony, like that was only 4 years ago. And like the shift that could happen within a short period of time, like that, you just explained what was about 2 year period just in that process. And just because at times, you know, like especially myself, probably you as well, and probably Bill at times as well, when you feel you are depressed, you feel like you're never going to escape it. And when you feel anxious, you feel like you're never going to survive it. And when you decide to start doing small increments of like 1% every day, it eventually creates this massive shift in your life within a short period of time that you don't even recognize. Like at the time, just me getting on the balcony and having a cigarette was like a 1% every day. But at the time I was like, oh, I don't know, just do it. Then eventually, like 4 years later, you start like making steps on top of that and steps on top of that. And then you slowly start outdoing yourself just by putting yourself out there and becoming uncomfortable. And I feel like that's the importance of just the 1% every day and having a bit of belief in yourself and just giving life a crack.
Yeah, well, that's so there's something that I've been doing just recently in the community page, and for the dads. And the reason why I've been doing it's not so much the exercise itself and the meaning behind it, and that's the daily push-ups. So it's those little efforts each and every day. They start off tiny, but the growth it's more just falling in love with the journey through it and feeling, for them, they're going to be feeling stronger going through it, they're actually going to probably start enjoying doing a push-up after 2 weeks because they're feeling good. Yeah, people are going to start commenting on them. They'll go from like I said, from 5 push-ups at the start of the month to like 60-something.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think I could do 60-something right now. So I'm on that journey too of knowing that there's growth. It's the 1%ers each and every day that add up to something incredible, and it's about enjoying that journey along the way, because they'll get to that goal and they go 60-something. Oh, wow, I could do more than that now. Yeah. You know, so then they'll set a new goal, you know, but it's that growth mindset that I want and that self-belief that they can achieve anything. But it's about not looking at the end goal. It's about enjoying the journey along the way, that growth along the way. That's, again, where the juice of life is.
And there's so many skills getting taught in that too, because a lot of people ask me, like, how do I build motivation? And it comes from discipline, doing those little things every single day, because the reason why discipline gives us motivation, because when we discipline ourselves to do something we don't want to do, we do it, we get the feeling of success from doing it, and then it motivates us to do it again and keep going. So doing the little things like the push-ups, like I think I saw someone post that they forgot to do it yesterday, so they doubled up today. I'm just like that's amazing. Like that's going to increment to so much over time. Like just having that mindset, like, look, I missed out yesterday, that's cool, I'll go again today, and just keep going. And like it's going to build so much motivation for so many people.
How cool is that? Yeah, shout out to Daniel. I've seen that post by him.
Shout out to the man. That's mad. I love to hear that.
He said, I forgot, and I'm going to do it too now. Which is cool, And it's pretty funny because some of the dads it's just a lot of them aren't able to upload a video or however. And I think it's hilarious because that's just us dads. Works phone technology. And the funny thing is, I know they've done it. Like, I know they've done the push-ups, you know. Like, there's no doubt they've done it. You know, you've got that belief within them, which is cool. Because that's all they want. They want someone to believe in them.
That's it.
You know, like, I think once you can find one or more people that truly believe in you, then, you know, keep them around.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's authentic too, with your dad's community too. It's not like just like, oh, let's just all support each other. It's actually like men who are authentically like, look, we should actually support each other. Like there's actually like a true intention behind it. And I feel like that's why it's grown the rate it is too. And that's why a lot of people getting the impact from, even yourself, because that true authenticity that comes with it.
Yeah, that's it. Like the pride I see when I see those posts, like just sitting back and just observing the lads just getting together and supporting each other. It's like, that is amazing. Like, it's just incredible. That, and like I said, that is community. You know, like if someone's struggling, like there's been people going out helping people move and helping people get out of their house and helping with their gardening, landscaping, whatever it may be, or offering things if they need something. Like, that's community. Yeah. In those tough times, you know, like, yeah, it's just like I said. One thing I want to point out as well is that no one's born bad or evil. You know what I mean? Like, we're not. We're born good and pure. And that's... So I look at everyone that somewhere within them, there's a good person, yeah? These men wouldn't be on here unless they're a good person, wanting to be a good dad, a better man, a better partner. You know, a better person within themselves. So, for me, like every person can be a good person. Yeah, it's just the environment and being conditioned over time, and probably more to do with self-worth. If they if they hold their worth up high upon themselves in a healthy way, I feel like, you know, they can, you know, they'll be a really great person because they will just shine off them. You know, they won't need to bring anyone else down around them because, you know, they'll be just supportive of the other person's journey and probably want to help them or be curious about how they're doing well. So everyone has potential. But you've got to realise that, and everyone needs someone to believe in them. We just need those people to have an open mind and open heart. As soon as they open up, then everyone can step in,
Yeah, it's like the more love you receive, the more love you can give.
Right.
And it's like that with anything. Like, I know the main saying is like, the more money you have, the more people want to give. But it's the same with love too. The more you feel love, the more you want to give it back, because you know what the true feeling of love feels like, and you want other people to experience that.
It's beautiful, mate. Like I was saying before, I've never been truly in love with myself until probably the last couple of years on this journey where I've had to focus on myself. You know, I've had to remove the ego, unlayer and after layer, take extreme ownership. Previously, I was thinking I was perfect when I wasn't. That was just my ego protecting myself because deep down I realised I probably wasn't perfect. I was far from it. And, yeah, removing all that and then resetting and starting again and just, like, honestly, the love for myself I've never felt for anyone in my life, like, apart from probably my children. Like, it's been incredible. So it's so authentic and real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to please anyone or whatever. It's just me.
If you ever find yourself let me rephrase that. If you ever find yourself getting caught in that old mindset, like, how do you get yourself out of it? Like, how do you consciously become aware of it?
Yeah, the feeling.
Yeah.
Or feeling. You know, it's an energy. It's like I know now what like a great feeling is and what a yucky, icky feeling is, yeah?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in that sort of yucky, icky feeling. I want to be in that positive, good feeling. So that's when I switch out of it. Like I was saying, I put up a post today, actually, where in regards to me thinking I was the perfect dad, but I wasn't the perfect dad. So, and I was so conscious of it at the time when I was with my kids. I was desperate to be present with my kids. And they were wanting their dad emotionally and mentally there. On the outside, looking in, everyone would look, oh, he's present, but I wasn't. I was thinking about work. I was thinking about my relationship. I was thinking about my kids, you know, in not a real positive way. I was thinking about their health or what, you know, am I good enough dad? Or it was just all negative. And I wasn't present. Which was, it was sad to think about, you know.
I really feel like that'll be a lot of dads going through that because I went through that as well. Like I started realizing that I was there, but I wasn't present with energy, with emotion, like, and you can feel that in yourself because you're worrying about all these other things, you know. You're spending time with your kid, but your head is like, my career, my, you know, my relationship with myself. And until you start like what you said, instead of like thinking you have to give, once you like look inwards to give to yourself, you start expressing this other different energy, which is just really in the moment. And I think your kids can notice that too. Because when that shift changed for me, because I was so caught up in trying to make it, and I had to pull myself out of that mindset because it just caused me so much anxiety, so much depression, and it's so important to admit that to yourself, like, and it's okay, all the dads out there, if you're going through this, it's okay because you know you can get out of this because in the moment you might be in that moment with your kids and stuff, but you really aren't when your mind's everywhere. So it's important to come back to yourself. So like now it's like when I'm in that moment, I'm like, fuck, I'm actually happy. Like I actually feel here. Like I didn't feel that for so long. I'm like, fuck, I'm here now. Like, and every little, like, I just enjoy like every moment that I'm having with my kid. It's like, fuck, like I lost a little bit of time fucking consumed by what I can do when everything I have is fucking, I'm already rich. I'm already fucking wealthy in every way. You know what I mean? So I just had to come back to that, like stop trying to give and take from the world.
Yep.
But just like accept what you have as well. Like, cause it's so fucking like precious as it is, you know? So it's so important. What I heard you say, you're trying to give, you know, like you just give all of yourself, and you have nothing for yourself really, you know, and your mind's just like in so many other places, you know. But yeah, it's good to hear that because I'm like, fuck, I can relate to that. Fucking,
you said it perfectly. You can relate to it.
Yeah.
So that's what the community space is about for the dads, is that what they're going through is normal, and to be kind to themselves and going, yeah, it's okay. You know, like, don't beat yourself up too much about it, because there's other men and dads going through the same thing. So hopefully by them voicing it when they're feeling this way on the page, whether other men want to sort of get involved in that conversation or they're sitting back and observing it, either way, they're going to be hey, look, there's other men and dads going through this situation right now. Maybe we can come together and sort of, as we're discussing before, mastermind things, you know, brainstorming, going, okay, what do you do to try and stay present, yeah? Because that's why I shared the post. I do little activities and tasks that don't work right away, but it's that discipline Ryan was talking about before, of consistently showing up and just doing it each and every day, because you're that desperate to be present with your kids, yeah? Because the one thing is, I guess, with kids is that if you're not present with them, that's when they start playing up a little bit, yeah? They want attention, because all a child wants, and I remember as a child, all I wanted was quality time with my dad or my mum, yeah? Just that quality time where their full attention was on me. I was just their number one. Like, they were proud of me.
Yeah.
The energy was there between us both.
You just want to be loved, you know, because you're just like, when you're a kid, you're just like love. That's it. That's your only, like, you know, you're born with love, and like you just reflect that as well. And it's so important, because when you start giving them all the love they need, they give you just an insane amount, and you find even more worth in yourself. It's like, it's so important, bro.
Yeah, because even like reflecting back to myself, like, when I'd act out, it would be because I wanted attention. But then when I'd act out, I'd just get in trouble. Now I would get less attention because I just get put in the room or something like that and be isolated. So it just spiraled and got even worse. And I think it's so good that you touched on that too, because if your child is acting out, it's probably because he's wanting some attention.
Correct. So we all, you know, basically will discipline our children in different ways, and sometimes there's no wrong or right, because each child is different, each circumstance is different. I'll never tell a person how to discipline their children. For me, personally, what I do is I get more out of them by being curious and actually asking questions and just sitting down with them and trying to explore a bit further why they're acting out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I find the reason why they're acting out is it's a reflection of how I've been. It's actually how I've been in those moments. I haven't been fully present. You know what I mean? So they've been playing up. And unfortunately, the less present you are over time, the more they act up, the more trouble they get in. And before you know it, I seen this image where the child was being naughty or something little, and then it stepped up to be another thing. And then before you know it, they're smoking, drinking, then doing drugs, they're in jail. And it's like, it just was out of control. And then later on in life, the parent was like, I'm so sorry. But it's just too late. Like, you know, it was just too much damage, too much trauma, too much conditioning, too many unfortunate actions that have put them in a position that, you know, they're just, it's just too late. So I could just tell all men out there, dads out there, you know, just listen to each other, communicate, and just start working within. And that's where it all starts from, and it's discipline, showing up each and every day and doing it. But now we're lucky to have a space where we can communicate with each other and feel like it is normal, be kind to ourselves, but help each other get through it. Be solution-minded, positive, you know, get around together, catch up with each other, talk, catch up with a coffee, you know, get on a Zoom phone call these days, you know, voice it in the community page, get to a barbecue, fish, you know, whatever it may be. Just talk, you know, you're normal.
Facts.
What about like, who have you or who do you look up to in life? Like, who inspires you?
All right. In the past, you want to be athletes or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, you grow up looking at athletes.
Like all Liverpool players?
Yeah, definitely no. Definitely no. Big no. But,
That's a no.
no. Talking about energy, that just dropped in it. No, but for me, like, I don't know, it sounds a bit funny, but the biggest role model, the person I'm looking up to the most, is myself. There's a quote by Matt McConaughey, if you ever heard his speech, and someone asked him who's his hero, And he goes, he thought about it. He couldn't think about it. And he goes, I'll get back to you. And then he goes, did you find out your hero? And the guy said to Matt McConaughey, and he says, yeah, I did. And he goes, who is it? He goes, it's me from like 10 years from now.
I've seen that one. I love that.
Incredible.
Yeah. That is incredible.
And then the guy caught up with him in 10 years from now, and he goes, and who is your hero? He goes, it's me in another 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow.
Yeah.
I thought, if you can look up to anyone, it should be yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
Because we're all unique and beautiful in our own way. We're born a certain way. We've got our superpowers. We need to embrace them and, just keep leveling up, being a better version of ourselves. And you're your own hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the main actor. You're the main hero of your movie, man.
That's it. You're in your own movie, really. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
that's so true. Yeah.
You're going to have your ups and downs. That's what a great character has. You know, that's why we watch those movies. So, you know, there's a journey in life. It's not all perfect, but it's one of growth and leveling up.
How powerful is that too when you're able just to reflect back within yourself and in times of struggle or challenges, you can always look at yourself because we can always close our eyes and picture a movie of our own life that we've lived because we've experienced it. If you can do that in times of struggle and find motivation from that, like that can be one of the most powerful tools we can access.
100%.
Could you just like a bit off topic, but could you imagine like how incredible a movie would be? One of yourself in your own journey.
Oh, bro.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, there's so many movies out there, but like we've all had some exceptional lives with, you know, great moments and real crappy moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's the ups and downs that make a great story. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I think it's important to think like that because you start enjoying all the little things that you do.
Yeah.
Because when you start like, you know, like, I don't know, your drive to work can be more interesting when you're like, this is a movie, you know, like this is my movie. What can I do today that's going to be like, you know, how can I direct my day? Like
direct my day.
Direct my day. On the train, I'm on the train now. You know, I find it fun when I imagine a lot. When I'm wherever I am, I just start imagining all these things. I'm like, it's just way more fun to see life in that way because like, it's such a good thing you brought up. You're in your own movie, you know, like it's so important to look at life like that. You've got such an amazing like story, whether you've had like rough times or whatever, that's all a part of the movie. So you can make it out, whatever, you know.
I love that analogy, like especially with like how can I direct myself to the next stage, and the next stage could be like within the next hour or the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
Like how am I going to get out of this? And picture your life as a movie and you're the director.
Yeah, man. You know, cut it when you need to cut it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
it. Take 5.
Yeah, take 5. That's it. You know? I'm taking a breather.
Taking a breather, man. But it's about that, though. Like, it's about being aware in that moment and going, okay, I need to reset or stop, stop a certain feeling or thought or action. And when you can do that, that's obviously when you're very present and aware. And that, like I said, that's tough. That's a tough journey. But, people have done it before. You know, it's definitely possible. Just remember that. You're your own hero. Yeah, and you want your kids to. You know, you don't want to be your kids' hero. You want your kids to be their own heroes.
Yeah.
Because you want your kids to be better than you are.
Yeah.
You want to give them the environment, the opportunities in life, the mentoring to be a way better version of you are. So if you're their hero,
they'll be inspired.
Correct. But not just that, like how often are you better than a hero? So, you know, they'll become better than you if you put all your energy into them. And if they can be their own heroes, they're just going to have to keep pushing. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want.
That's such a good way to think of it too. Like your kids will become their own hero in their own lives and let them step into that power.
Correct.
I got a question probably for both of you. Let's just say, not me because I'm not in this situation, but let's just say their partner's pregnant.
Yep.
It's their first kid and they're a bit lost. They're a bit freaked out in the moment. They're like, fuck, I don't know what to do. But they're going to be there for the kid no matter what. But they're just freaking out. Like, what's some advice or what could you say to someone that's in the moment of like, fuck, I'm about to have a kid, I don't feel ready?
So are they still ready like, in terms of when they're still in the relationship?
Yeah, so let's just assume they're still in the relationship with the partner, they're having a kid, but their mindset is just like, fuck, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Okay. Tell them it's normal. Tell them that I think nearly every male would be thinking the same.
Yeah.
I think every new experience that you come into is in the uncomfort zone. So he's in the uncomfort zone. Uncertainty. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just reach out, ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, even someone to speak to, communicate it. Like I said, it's again why I've created the community. I wish there was something like that when I first had my children, that I could bounce off and go, hey, look, guys, I'm feeling this way. Can anyone help me? And the dads would have said, hey, I've been through that, mate. Like 2 years' time, like everything will be fine. Trust me. He'll be fine. You know what I mean? He's going to be there for his kid. Yeah. So, like I said, it's just reaching out, asking for help, and you know, just accepting that. Yeah, it's okay to freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hide it.
Yeah.
You know, express it.
Express it, yeah.
It's the best advice I can give, man.
Yeah, it's powerful too. Like, it always comes back to community. And I feel like I like the idea of speaking to someone, because then you're not just like, I don't know, working on a strategy, but still by yourself. It's still blocked in your head. So having someone else that you can use as a soundboard and reflect on and speak to and get advice from is such an important factor.
Correct. And we talk about being around like-minded people. Well, I can guarantee you what I just said, 99% of those dads would be feeling the same.
Yeah.
They've gone through that.
Yeah, you couldn't have answered that better. I think every man that's going to have a child is going to have that stage where they're confused, and it's so important that you said if you have that community, and now there's dad's community, and if you're going through this, reach out, because it's so important, because it's inevitable. You're going to have that feeling where it's like, what am I doing? Especially if you don't really have a father figure yourself, this is something that's going to arise for yourself. When you start becoming a father, or you're going to become a father, you're definitely going to ask yourself, like, what's happening? And it's important to reach out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Reach out, ask for help, communicate, keep educating yourself.
Yeah.
Education, we know, is one of the most powerful things.
Definitely.
I'll tell you a funny story from me. So I always wanted a boy for some reason, because obviously growing up in sport, I wanted a boy. Yeah, like I was like, yes, you know, just a little footy play, etc. And then when I was told I was going to have a girl, my heart sank and dropped. Not because out of sadness, but I had all this fear come over me. Yeah, because I'm going to have to protect this little girl, protect her heart from being crushed from men like me in the past in my 20s, and all the little things like I started thinking of, my mind just was going out of control, like what change rooms, what toilets I'm going to take her to, like, you know, like how am I going to talk to her about all these girl issues? You know, like what if she goes off and becomes, you know, a stripper or a prostitute? All these things are in my head, and I'm like my little baby girl, like I'm like, you know, I don't know how, like it was all this fear, this uncertainty, and, you know, like, but at the end of the day, whatever she becomes, the most important thing is as long as she's safe and she's happy, you know, and that's the main thing I came down to. But I thought it was just a funny one that, you know, like that just dropped for me then when you mentioned he was in fear of things. Well, that's the main fear I had when I was told I was having a daughter. Yeah, it was incredible, but I'll never change it, because she is the most incredible, beautiful, intelligent, articulated, kind, beautiful energy little girl ever.
Love that.
And she's definitely daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her. So I'll never change that at all. I guarantee you, having a girl is incredible. And I've got a boy too, and he's just amazing. It's just the boy I've always wanted. So shout out to Taylor and Kai if you listen to this one day. Daddy loves you, is proud of you. Be your own heroes, and I love yous.
Yeah. And they're
Love that.
so funny together too. Like being around your two kids, like they crack me up. Like there's such little balls of energy and fun.
Oh, they're wild, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, another moment, like, a bit off track, but every parent will look at their child and see some beautiful characteristic within them, regardless of all the shit they put up with from their child. There's a beautiful something within them, and, you know, my son's best mate, pretty much, he's got Down syndrome, and his name is Sammy, and just seeing how he protects him and makes sure he's okay and cuddles him, and just the love. It's like kids, man, like when they're that little, like it's just nothing but love.
That's it, bro.
And kindness, yeah. And you know, my daughter's the same, you know, like we went to her first, another funny story, went to her first disco the other day, and I was stressing about all the boys wanting to dance with her. She's 6. Yeah. 6. And she still doesn't like boy germs, so I had nothing to worry about, but I still was worried. And,
just being a dad.
Yeah. So I was the helicopter dad, hovering around, dancing with my daughter the whole time. Helicopter dad. Yeah. You know, beard and tattoos and trying to, you know, scare all the
little
kids. Yeah, she had a couple of little girlfriends of hers that yeah, my daughter had her own pocket money, but they didn't have any money and they were hungry and they were getting pretty upset. And my daughter just went off and bought them sausages and hugged them and said it's okay. And I just thought, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like that, you know, we just got to really appreciate those moments and let them know that, you know, what they did was a really great thing and encourage more of those and be aware of it, because that's what we want them to do more of, is have that kindness. Like I've always said, be anything in this world, and all I want you to do is be kind. Yeah, that's it. Like,
that's so important to teach kids and show them as well. You know, I think showing goes a long way.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's so important. I love that about my son too. When we go to the park, he's always trying to share his toys to make friends. You know, I'm like, yeah, man. I'll just sit down and like the first time that I got a little bit upset, it was so funny because we went to the park and this was the first time where he's gone and made his mates and I've gone like to walk up and introduce myself, but he turned around and he's like, Dad. And I like, he just told me to stop. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not allowed in this one. And he's like, just ran off with them. And I was like, oh, bro. I was like, heard as. I was like, I'm going to go sit down now. Just sitting down. But he came later and like, he's talking to me. But I was like, oh, shit. All right. Yeah. He's getting to that age where he's like, all right, I got to, you know, make my own fun. So usually he's like, oh, you know, making me follow him everywhere. But this time he was like, you know, stop me. I was like, all right, I'll just leave him do his thing.
Yeah, growing up, man.
Yeah, he's growing up. Yeah, he's doing his thing. But it's so funny. Yeah, kids are so funny.
Oh, they're so real.
Yeah, they are.
Like and authentic. And that's, I guess, why a lot of us just like being around them, man. Because, you know, they just come from a good place. And even if they say something that's not so kind in our eyes, it's just real.
It's real.
They're not trying to bring you down or anything. It's just how they see the world.
That's it.
In that moment. So I think that's quite cool. And another thing is we've always got to be conscious of our actions, good and the bad, because it could be how we're speaking to our partners, more importantly to ourselves as well, putting ourselves down and stuff. Yeah, they'll see that and then they'll start taking that on. But I'll tell you a moment that I love. I always talk about it because it's a really proud moment. What I like to do is when you're going out for breakfast, lunch or dinner or meal or you get coffee or whatever, but I always go up and thank whoever's created it for me, because I know at the end of the day, the last thing they want to be is the kitchen. They want to be out there enjoying their stuff too, you know. Yeah. And I know they probably don't get the praise that they deserve. Yeah. Hospitality. So for me, it was I always go up and do that. And one day my son just told me, we finished up. He goes, "Dad, can I go up and say thank you?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's
so
amazing.
He went up and he sort of went up close and then he got a bit shy, stood away, and then he just yelled out to him. He's like, "Thank you for lunch," and then ran away. And I'm like, this is it. This is the vibe. Like, this is so cool. And I was like, yeah, it's just encouraging again those things, you know. It's and being aware when they do those things. Yeah. He only did that obviously because he sees his dad doing it. Yeah.
I'll just say that's a reflection of you.
Yeah. And look, and there's also times when I'm saying and doing the wrong thing as well, you know, that I could not accidentally, but I'll, yell. Yeah. You know? And then I find my kids yelling at me.
Yeah.
as well. You know, again, they're a reflection of myself. So there's more positives these days than there were obviously back in the day. But yeah, we're not all perfect, but it's just being aware in those moments that yeah, it's just being your actions are everything.
And you said something earlier too. You don't like the word fail because you like use it as lessons.
So important.
Yeah.
Wording is spell. So we're spelling, so it's important to start choosing those words that we really want to grow with, you know.
That's it.
Yeah.
100%, guys.
Yeah, I've got I put up a post in Stephen's dad community saying Steve's coming on the podcast. Can you write some questions? So let's just see what questions we got.
Love that.
All right. One from Les Whitehouse.
Yes.
What made you want to create Dad's community and where would you like to see it go?
Yeah, so going really back to it is just creating that space or that community that I never had. I wished I had. It could have saved my marriage, for one, It could have saved my own mental health at the time. It could have saved, it could not save, but I could have had even a more beautiful relationship with my children earlier on in the day. But just feeling more normal about all these challenges and issues and speaking to people that are like-minded. And for me, my initial goal was having 1,000 men and dad in the community. I think that'd be incredible. One day I just wanted to blow up worldwide and just... It will. And I feel like the male dynamic is always needed in your children's life. Unfortunately, the poor mother can only do so much, you know, and bring so much to the table. And it's not just left to them to do the parenting. I think us men need to stick around, our dads need to stick around no matter how challenging and hard it is. And now creating a space like the dad's community space will hopefully have more men and dads stick around because they can work through their pain, their challenges, their trauma, and find those other like-minded dads that they can, you know, bond with and find some mateship through.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Another one is, what do you enjoy about being a dad?
Yeah, it's more feeling. It's the feeling I get. Obviously, I don't see him every single day. So the initial feeling knowing when I'm about to pick him up, the feeling I get to hug them, cuddle them, you know, just wrestle with them. I love the wrestling with my boy and my girl.
Yeah.
You know, you look at lions and cubs and bears and cubs, like it's part of the animal kingdom.
That's
man,
it.
Doing that, you know, one trying to get over the other.
Touch with that body, you know,
Correct.
it's that energy, bro.
Energy, physical connection.
Physical
one trying to
connection.
get it over the other sort of thing,
That's
you know,
it.
like, and really just, I guess, just growing with them. Like I was saying before, children don't owe us anything, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we owe them the world because we brought them into this world. So we got to give them all the opportunities they can give. So yeah, that's the most thing I love is just being present with them, I guess. Like I said, I wasn't present in the past all the time, and now majority of the time I am, and there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
You know, the
How
gratitude.
how did you deal with, because for me, I've felt a lot of separation anxiety. And I still do a little bit at times because I just feel like a piece of me is missing when I'm not with my son. But I want to ask you, how did you deal with that separation? Because I feel like most fathers or most parents would feel this. When you're without your child, you feel like something's missing, right?
Yes.
Like that's why when you see them, your heart just like starts like, you just feel this overwhelming feeling like, oh, I'm home. So how did you manage that feeling?
That's actually a really great question, man, and that's something that I still feel at times.
Yeah.
Man. So for me, when the relationship, our marriage first, you know, fell apart and the children went with their mum, that was just the worst day of my life. Like it was just there's no, you can't even name the feeling, you can't even express the feeling that it was. It was just, it was like you just died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, from there, I just didn't want to sit in that pain, and I love my children that much that I knew that I can't be that. I can't be that pain. I can't feel that pain. I need to get out of it. So I just started searching for an answer. And for me, one thing was I found a dad, like a coach, like a transformational coach, one that believes in you, etc. And shout out to Dion. He was incredible for me in those situations. Someone who just believed in me, who's been through that himself, had the experience to sort of tell me, you know, or not tell me, but more guide me in the right direction, make me accountable for certain, you know, feelings I had about my ex, and show a bit more empathy at times, which definitely helped that co-parenting relationship. But another thing that sort of helps for me is I just keep busy and in healthy things that make me better. A lot of people say I'm too busy, and that's probably true. Like, I don't give myself much time to rest because obviously, and to be honest, and from the heart is if I rest too much, my thought goes to my children and then I get a bit sad. I don't like that feeling. So for me, it's just keeping busy, you know, serving others, working on myself with a lot of self-love. I guess the time I'm away from the kids is, you know, connecting with mates and other people, serving the community, going to the gym, going for hikes, going to the beach, you know, just really doing things for me that serve me, because I know that when I'm serving me, I'm filling my cup. And then when I get around my children, it's just,
You're pouring, it's overflowing. They can feel it too.
And
I love that. You couldn't have answered that any better. That's perfect, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's amazing to hear that, because I think it does come back to yourself, you know, and I had to really accept that for myself too, because I had this trouble of the separation anxiety. But once I started looking inwards and making sure that I was fine, when he'd come over, it was even better, you know, like, so it's important to look inwards when, you know, when you're not with your kids. It's important to look after yourself, look inwards and find your balance and your peace and connect with your brothers. And it's important. Keep yourself busy too. That's such an important thing in a healthy way. Because I had to learn that as well. I was like, fuck, I'm doing a lot of unbalanced, busy stuff. So I had to like change all that energy and stuff. But doing that, I started like feeling so grounded and like, it's so important for fathers and dads to know this, like, because you just go through these things sometimes not knowing what's happening, but looking inwards is key.
Yes, agree, man. Like, how much better is your relationship now, for one, that you've been working on yourself and giving yourself self-love, and secondly, you really take the time with them for, you know, with just gratitude, because, you know, you've only got a smaller amount of time with them.
That's it. Yeah, the gratitude is like so important now. You know, you like every moment is like you're taking it in like so much more, because you start understanding these things, and it's so important. And like you're more grateful when you feel like yourself. Because like what we spoke about earlier, when your mind's everywhere, you're not in the moment, you know, you're not appreciating the moment. So it's important to look inwards, and you feel more grateful when all the real things are meant to make you full. So it's important.
Yeah, brother. I love that.
Yeah, bro.
It's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
You just realise, like, when you're around another dad, you just realise how much similar you are. You go through all the pain points, the same emotional ups and downs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you just want to be there for your children. Like, that's your mission, that's your purpose, ain't it? So, it's nice to talk about it. It's communication, man.
Yeah, it does.
Communication's a good, authentic, real communication is the key to every successful relationship. And I mean, like, it could be co-working, co-parenting, your child parenting relationship, your relationship with yourself. It's just communication is the number one. Everyone knows where they stand. you're not guessing. There's nothing worse than the unknown and guessing how someone is feeling about you, or they're guessing about you on how you feel about them. Yeah, like if you can know where you stand in life, you know.
Yeah. 100%. I could listen to you two talk about being a father for like forever.
Right. So
Just-
when I was going through this like hectic anxiety, I feel like when you have right surroundings, your help is gonna come. And like that's why I really believe in what you're doing, because like no matter what I was going through, I always had Ryan, and like it'd be at weird times when he'd suggest things that would work for me. But just having that friendship, like he gave me like books that like helped me, like, and like I was never a book person, you know, like, but he introduced me to audiobook, gave me books like The Power of Now changed my life. There's a few others that just changed my life, you know, like they just expanded my thought so much, made me accept my feminine side, because I was just always running off ego and my masculine side to try to get by, and like balancing my feminine and my masculine, I actually felt like I could love myself more now, because I started like knowing like my feelings and my worth and my energies, like what I could balance. And but yeah, I think like what you're doing is important, because if you have the right community of people, your help is going to be there, you know, no matter what you're going through. Because you don't really know when you're going to go through things as well. Things appear all the time. So like I said, like having Ryan that does this type of work as well, and like consciousness and meditation and all this stuff that he suggested me, has changed my life as well. So I appreciate it so much, you know, like having like a brother that I can like have there, and like it makes me want to support him when he needs me. I'll be there as well. So it always goes both ways. So it's important what you're doing, like creating that, you know, and like people that don't know each other can meet through your, you know, dad's community, and have that support for each other, because that's literally what's made me survive in the last 4 years. Like having my best friend Ryan, and you know, him doing this type of work for his own, for himself, you know, like consciousness, and you know, even the potty, and me being involved has made me a better person, you know, made me evolve. And then the things I do without him, I've evolved in, because of how I surround myself with, you know, all these other things I'm doing. So it's important to like reach out, and like it's scary, because like all these things that he's involved me with, at the start I'm like, you know, because I always just kept into what I knew. I never really expanded, but expanding out, like talking on a mic and stuff like that, or talking to each other, that's what I was comfortable with, you know. But then we started like breaking the barriers slowly and slowly, and I'm like, fuck, I'm actually fucking, you know, I'm moving. But yeah, it's so inspiring for myself, because like what we said before, like you got to think of your life as a movie, and that's how I look at my life now, you know. I look at like the progress and the bad and the good, but I always strive to do the better, you know, like to do better by myself. And I think you can do yourself better when you surround yourself with people that want to grow. So it's important.
Very important.
Thanks, bro. There's a lot of calm words there for me.
No, I appreciate that, G.
That's the truth, man.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I've experienced the same with Ryan too.
Yeah.
For me, I guess you just got to be aware of your environment that's around you. There's nothing wrong with all my mates in the past. They're really good people. Yeah. I've just on my own journey, and I've just found some really like-minded people on this journey that sort of helped me level up, and my life has got better with some really, really good friends and mates, and around me that would just, I don't know, sometimes I don't even have to say anything, but I just know they're there. You know what I mean? Like it's by their actions and what they're doing and stuff like that, I sort of observe them, and I take that on board, which is really cool. So it's pretty epic, and it's about utilizing and learning from each other, and that self-education, and you know, trying to apply different tools and methods and skills to sort of in moments where you may feel like you're not going to be at your best.
Yeah.
When you're overstressed, like, you know, breath work, meditation, etc. And for me, this wasn't planned at all. But Ryan, can you talk about you've got actually an event coming up, man, that could actually help a lot of these dads if they're interested. No obligation, obviously.
Yeah.
But these little things Ryan has showed me over the last little while, and they've been fantastic for me. They've been incredible, and they've really helped me in those really stressful moments where I can feel like I feel overwhelmed or clammed up, or I feel like I'm going to say or do the wrong thing, but I've sort of utilised some of these skills, man, that you've taught. So talk about
wicked,
your
bro.
day, man, coming up.
All right. Well, not this weekend coming. I want to say weekends because I'm not sure when this will be released. It'll be released before the event. But 21st of August, I've got a collaboration event with myself and Travel Fit. It is a half-day experience, so it's 6 hours. So it's a 6 to 7 hour day from 6:30 a.m. till about 12:30, 1 p.m. And it involves breath work, meditation, ice baths, exercise, good deed, human connection, and I don't think I'm allowed to mention the rest because we're chucking a few surprises in there.
Nice.
But like hearing about meditation, breath work, ice baths, like before I did breath work and meditation, I had the mindset like you have to be a hippie to do that. Like that was my whole thing. Like that's not me. That's not
the only one, brother. Like honestly, before that, I was like, ice bath, what's that?
Yeah.
Breath work,
like I used to think like sitting in a circle and breathing like it's weird. Like I used to think I'm not doing that.
especially with other men, nature or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
and there'll be a few people listening to this, like breath work. I'm not going to sit and breathe in a circle of people. It's weird. I was that exact person.
We're
bro.
already breathing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm breathing right now. And like, I never thought I would have got to a point where I'm facilitating an event based on breath work and meditation, ice baths. And the first ever time I did breath work and meditation, actually it wouldn't be the first time, sorry, because when I always tried meditation by myself, it was such a challenge because I didn't know how to do it. It'd be more of a frustration towards myself. But once I went to an event, like my event that I'm running, it really changed my whole perspective on breath work and meditation. It changed my whole life. Like I don't even really battle negative intrusive thoughts anymore. I don't really feel depressed too much anymore. I don't really feel anxiety in my life anymore due to having breath work and meditation in my life consistently, and also chucking ice baths in there every now and then as well. But yeah, if you're listening to this and you've never done breath work and meditation, don't be thrown off by the idea of it. Just be open-minded and come and try it out, because the day I dropped my ego and went and tried these things out, it changed my life completely. And it is in a safe environment of like-minded people that are there to grow. There's no judgment. Everyone's there to grow and meet other people who are like-minded and want to get the best out of themselves in life and try new things as well. So, yeah, come down on the 21st of August in the Sunshine Coast, and I'll also link it in the bio as well. But it's going to be such an epic day. I'm really keen.
Love it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
For me, a lot of those tools, like you mentioned, breath work, I wished I knew about that as a child. I know a lot of schools and stuff, and like I started to implement these things a lot, like, which is great. But for me as a child, I would have loved that. Like, you know, those really moments when you're getting like super overwhelmed or anxiety's going through the roof.
That's it.
You know, and then you break out, you say the wrong thing, or you become violent in a way, or you know, if you could just take a deep breath and just calm that sort of nervous system down, and take another deep breath and exhale, and you're like, it changes your world. And I've only learnt that over a little while. Like, it hasn't been that long, and it's changed my world. I've used it within work. I've used it on the highway. I've used it with my kids. I've used it in just any sort of situation that potentially I could not be at my best version.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be my worst version. But, you know, so I've utilised those tools. Meditation, it doesn't have to be just sitting there humming and listening to music. It could be literally like I was the other day. I just look and sit at the ocean, man, and just have my coffee, and I just sit there.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's like meditation.
Just being present.
Being so present. Going for a nice hike, and just all you hear is the birds and all that. I know it sounds all hippie and stuff, but like I said, I couldn't see myself doing that in the past, and I absolutely like addicted to that stuff.
Yeah, I know. You get addicted to it. I'm just like so addicted to it. It like feels amazing just being in the present. I'm like, fuck anxiety, fuck depression. Like this is where it's at.
Feel revved. That's the beauty of an ice bath as well. Like the ice bath is literally you and a tub full of like big chunky ice water, like entirely cold water. It's freezing and it sounds off-putting. Like fuck, I'm not gonna go do that, because a lot of the beliefs around ice baths, it's all physical healing. Like you always see footy players and stuff jumping in them. It does have a lot of physical aspects to it, but one of the biggest benefits you can get from an ice bath is the mindset, mental gains that you get from it. Like the reason I love ice baths, it shows you two things: the importance of putting your body in a stress state to be able to then implement breath work to show how much you can actually calm yourself down in a high stress state. Because if you can calm let's just say you jump straight in an ice bath and the first thing you do is just like you can't control your breathing. And if you can sit in there for 3 to 5 minutes and get your breath to a point of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, and just breathing slowly, if you can do that, you can overcome any feeling of anxiety, any feeling of stress, any feeling of anger. You can overcome any of that through breath work. And that's the importance of implementing breath with the ice bath, because when you get in an ice bath, your body goes into hypothermia if you don't control your breath, because your muscles start jacking up, your nervous system will start jacking up, your mind will freak out and go in survival state. But if you can control your breath, you control your mind, and you calm your whole body down. And by doing that, you actually prevent your body going into hypothermia just from calming your breath. And if you can implement that exact same strategy when you're feeling anxious, frustrated, angry, overwhelmed, lost, depressed, no matter what it is, if you implement that same tactic of controlling your breath, you're going to overcome a lot of the other challenges you face in life. So that's why I love ice baths, and also the breath work element to it, because then you can adapt that to more situations in your life. So yeah, come down and experience it, and I'll show you the ropes of how it's done. Or if you've already done it, awesome, come down again and do it as well, because yeah, it's just some important tools you can do.
Yeah, look, basically for me, it's like the reason why I wanted to talk about that stuff is because some of us don't know how to be present. Yeah, we wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah,
like I didn't know where to start. I just got around a good bunch of mates that already knew these skills and tools and started showing me. And I was like, oh, I might give that a go. And for me, these are the things I was doing on a consistent basis with discipline, as you talked about, that allowed me to start feeling what it was like to be present more often than previously. So that's the reason why I wanted to obviously raise it, because I want them to know sort of the skills and tools, because some of us literally don't know where to start.
Yeah.
These are just some of the methods. There's a whole bunch out there.
Yeah.
But these are just some of the powerful, activities. Some might work for them, some might not. But I always tell people, give things a good crack for a little while, and give it a full proper go.
And the thing is, even if you don't get anything out of the strategies itself, which would be rare, like the people you meet there is a benefit within itself. Like I went to this is a crazy story. I went to Mastermind a few times. I told Bill to come to Mastermind. He's like, all right, I'll come check it out. Bill then sat at your table, Steve. Then Bill introduced me to you. Then now we're all three of us just sitting there.
How epic is that?
Just from showing up to an event and not sure what to expect out of it.
That's pretty amazing, eh?
Yeah. So if you never come that day, I probably would never been connected with Steve, and then all of us probably might not have been sitting here today. That's the importance of just going out and meeting people too, being around like-minded people. You never know where it can take you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just...
That was scary, my first time at the mastermind.
Yeah.
When they, you have to stand up and say your name and what you do. I felt like, because I was going through heaps of anxiety then. But when Ryan invited me, I had to power up. I was like, all right, my mates invited me to this. I got to battle it up. But when they asked me to stand up, say my name and what I do, I felt like when I got up, I sat down straight away. But that was it was such a big hit for me, because it made me realize, whoa, I was afraid. I just did this, even though I wasn't happy I felt like I should have said, I should have stood up for longer and slowed my breath and, took my time to introduce myself. But I felt like my anxiety took over, and I just said my name and what I did, and then I just sat down straight away. And that kind of showed me that I needed to grow my strength within, because like that was like obviously a fear of mine. So I was like, oh shit, I need to face this, you know, like how am I expecting to be a musician when I can't even introduce myself to a bunch of people that are literally here for the best, you know, best thing. They're just like here for the best reason. So I was like, fuck, I need to really like, you know, so from then I like really had to like start like being aware of like what I was and who I was and how I like was dealing with my emotions, because I was so like I was just closing myself out from the world, I felt like. And being in a room with heaps of people, it showed me that like I hadn't had that connection with you know, a big group of people in a while. So it was important. That day was important for me. I was like, fuck. But after, when I sat down and then we separated to our groups, I had a good feeling. I was like, fuck, this is a nice energy place. And then I met you. But yeah, it was mad because we had a real good chat on that table. But yeah, that's because we had to write our goals down. When I did that, when I got back home, I just like had this like my energy was off the roof, and it felt like I admitted to the world and a few people that I'm doing this. And I felt like, fuck, this is so important for people. You need to admit to people that what you're doing is what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Then you take that into yourself as like, it's so important, you know? Like,
Feels real.
yeah, it feels real, because I felt like I was kind of like half, like, yeah, I'm doing this, but what if this doesn't work out? And, you know, I might go somewhere else. But when we were on that table and you told me to write, you know, all the things I was doing, I was kind of just in that moment admitting to myself all these things that I'm doing are really what I actually want to do, not just things in my mind that I'm thinking I'll get into. So it was so important for me that day. It gave me so much energy and so much belief in myself, and I believe that like that mastermind thing is so important for people as well.
Yeah. I think that was a big factor in why we started one in Brisbane, because I think all three of us got that feeling over like, fuck, it's getting real.
Yep.
And then you have that accountability and community of people around you too. I think that's where the whole journey began of the mastermind in Brisbane that we started. So even that within itself was a journey. Because I remember when Stephen proposed the idea to me, he's like, oh, do you reckon we should get one going in Brisbane? And Stephen's like, I'm keen. Like, would you do it with me? And I was like, yeah. I was like, are you sure? Yeah. I was like, are you sure? Like, I didn't ask him that, but I was like, I'm going all for it. But my mom, like, are you sure? And then like we booked in the meeting to like just to plan it out, and I was like, this is getting serious. Then we procrastinated on it for a little bit. It wasn't ages, but it was a couple of weeks. And then we finally just shot the gun and, you know, shot the bullet, and thank fuck we did it, because it's been a beautiful journey.
Yeah, I love to hear that, because I remember him telling me we're gonna go look for places. And I was like, wow, that's happening. That's mad. I just love seeing people grow as well. Like it gives you strength. That's why I believe that like surrounding yourself with people that are striving is so important, because then you're like, all right, I can believe in myself too, you know? Whatever you're doing, you can strive your best in as well when you look up to other people as well. Like,
well, what's that saying? Like you become the sum of the 5 people around you.
Well, what I'll point out as well, again, touching base on me in my past, which was only a few years ago, if someone's doing really well, and I would actually probably become a bit envious or jealous of them, not in a healthy way. That was like, why them? You know, they're not so great, blah, blah, blah. And that was like, just to think that wasn't that long ago, like only a few years ago. And then to now, I'm like, when I see someone doing really well, I'm like their number one fan. That's why I created the mastermind. That's why I've created Dad's Community. Like it just gives me this joy, not happiness, joy, because joy is within, that feeling within, And it just overflows seeing someone doing really well. And now I'm like curious, like I'm like, how are you doing so well? I want to know, like it's like, you know, because I want to grow with them and want to learn from them. So it's just, that's when you know you're in a good place, when you're seeing other people doing really well and you just want to be a part of it, or you want to learn from them, and you don't have that envious or jealous feeling. That's it. And if you can find those people that want well for you, then keep them around, eh? Like,
Yeah,
'cause, you know,
100%.
like you said, you know, the other average of the people you're around, you know, like, or it's your product of your environment. So it's just keeping, like I said, that's been a major reason why, you know, I'm in a good place is because the people around me, the environment, are major important things for me too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
another point I say as well is that when I seen yourself at the mastermind, man, you like, and you wouldn't have been thinking this, you actually expressed your anxiety and stuff. I did not see that at all, man. So for us males, a lot of the time we'll show and we'll use our ego to protect us, and we'll just put all this like energy out there to say how, not how great we are, but to say like, hey, look, you know, I'm really good, you know, I'm in a good place, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a protection mechanism because we don't want anyone else to
100%.
really know how we're feeling, yeah? So for me, looking at you, I thought, oh, this guy's super confident. Like,
Yeah, heaps of people always
Great
think that
vibes,
when they
man.
meet me, they're like, "Oh, this guy's so overconfident." I'm like, "Bruh, I'm like, I battle my, you know what I mean? I have to battle so much, and this is why having real conversations with people that want to open up and
Yeah.
people who want to help themselves is so important to me, because a lot of people see me as confident, and I've had to be that way through my life because I was very insecure. I had to do a lot of things running off my ego and running off my anger and running off my insecurities. So over time, I've built that look of being confident and overconfident, but that's not really who I am. I'm a person that thinks really deeply about my feelings. I'm always trying to better myself with how I am because I've been assumed to be, a lot of people just assume that because I do come across as confident, and I don't like to. I like to always show people that they can be confident as well. And I learned that showing my vulnerability was my biggest lesson I had to learn. And once I started showing people my vulnerability, that I'm only human and I have all these emotions, then they started connecting with me better. Because I had a lot of problems in my life where people just looked at me as like an egomaniac, you know, like I was just so consumed with my own energy of ego. So yeah, that's a big reason why people think that he might have all the confidence in the world. But a lot of people that you might think that have a lot of confidence are no different than you. No. And it's the most important thing that even for myself, I learned that the strongest people I looked up to as like so confident, when they admitted to me that they were just normal like me, going through all these real things, that's when I started believing. I'm like, fuck, all right. Well, I can show my vulnerability. I can show a feminine side. I can show, all this like other emotions that I actually have, and like not run off my ego and my masculine side all the time. So yeah, I see why you see that. And like also being a person that's very goal orientated and very career driven, a lot of people just assume that I have it all figured out.
And I think the way we grew up to, like when we were like 15, 16, to like we felt like we had to kind of put some sort of image on so the people around us will respect us as well.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. I think not having a father figure that shows you that you can express all these other emotions and other ways of being a masculine man and a feminine man, you just start having your own idea of how to be a man.
Yeah,
how to hold yourself within who you surround yourself with, and if you're lucky enough, you and your friends will figure out the balance. But if you're at a place where your friends aren't showing you that balance, reach out to places where you can. Because I was lucky enough to have Ryan delve in this stuff himself, and then me be inspired by what he's doing. So I had to start sorting these things out, and especially having a kid as well made me really like come aware of my own emotions and my own feelings, to be a better dad and to be a better man, because I just didn't want to repeat the same things that I saw in both my dads. So that was a big awakening for me. But yeah, it's important to, be vulnerable and be confident at the same time. But yeah, your vulnerability is your strongest point, because once you find that, nothing can you're just unmatched with yourself when you find your vulnerable side with whatever you do. Because
Yeah.
And for me, like your confidence is not an unhealthy confidence. It's actually a beautiful confidence. It's a great vibe. You're positive, but like you said, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're open. You're like, you just want to be around you, man. Like, honestly, like.
Appreciate that,
Yeah,
bro.
you do,
Likewise too, because I felt like when I was there, I was like, fuck, like it just shows you when people come with intention, everyone's there for themselves, but everyone's pouring out energy that everyone's kind of feeding off in a healthy way.
Yep.
And it's such a good intention, and it just, like I said, when I went home, I was like fucking boosted up with energy. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like, like it feels like everyone's there to believe in themselves, but you're there to believe in yourself as well. But everyone believes in you as well, because they're trying to believe in themselves.
Yes.
So it's like you doing something good for yourself expresses to the world all this great energy. So yeah, I felt like so confident. I was like, fuck, this is so amazing. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's so true though too. Like when I quit drugs, like I feel like you and Buggy were the main reasons why I was able to quit, because of the belief you guys had in me to be able to quit. Like no matter what, you didn't try and force me to do anything I didn't want to do. You just completely like it was just so much like, we're so proud of you trying to change and want to grow in life, and the amount of support you two gave me was then giving me that belief to keep going and going. And like, yeah, it's so true what
and
you're
look
saying.
at us now. Like we've done it too. Like it feels like when someone does it, and you like at that time, I was so proud of you, and I was so proud to support you, but I wasn't at the stage where I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
But me showing you that energy somehow turned on me, because when I got to a stage where I was like, wait up, I believed in someone to do this. Why can't I believe in myself to do this? And when I started understanding that, I was like, fuck, like sometimes we just believe that other people can do things when we can do it as well, so but it's so good to see when you believe in someone and they do it, and then they show you that it's possible, and like I never thought that I'd be in the same stage as well, but it's amazing. Like
What's so important to when you're giving advice to people, etc. And we're all guilty of it. But it's so important to embody it yourself.
Yeah, facts.
That other person won't get the full benefit.
Yeah.
Because you won't have that credibility behind you, because it doesn't feel as real.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I just wanted to point out. I thought.
No, that's so important. That's exactly how I felt like. I felt like you have to be standing by what if you're going to preach something, you should really believe it yourself as well.
Yeah.
And that started changing my life around too, because I started looking at myself as kind of a fraud, I'm believing in other people when I don't even believe in myself. So that changed my whole perspective of like belief, and if other people can do it, you can do it as well. So if you, like what you said, if you're giving other people belief and preaching something, you should believe it yourself too.
Correct.
So it's important to like be aware of that, and coming to be aware of that by being aware of what's happening is so important, you know, because once I like started seeing this change, I was like, fuck, like it's crazy, you know, because like we believed in Scouts and he did this. So when I started doing it and then they started believing me, I did it. I was like, fuck, who can we change? Let's keep going, bro. Let's change the world.
Let's evolve.
Let's evolve.
We said some very, like, keywords I've taken out of that is aware.
Yeah.
You said, like, aware 4 times and believe, like, 4 times, man. If you can be aware of your own actions, your own talk, your own language, and pick up on that, and then want to be the change yourself as well and embody it, all that. That's still learnings for me too.
Yeah.
Like I love giving people advice, but sometimes I need to have a reality check and take it on myself. And I encourage people to tell me that. But you also said believe. Like you need someone to believe in you. You know, whether it's a mate, a friend, like I said, the community, anything. Someone truly needs to just believe in you. Yeah. But how funny! I got my dad's community business cards today. It was pretty epic, and it was from Canva, and one of the messages that when you open up the box, it says, "It seems impossible until it's done." Yeah, and then
that's a good one.
That's where that belief comes in. That self belief.
Yeah,
it's the most powerful. It's awesome having someone believe in you, but when that self belief shines, when you actually take action and it actually is a success.
Yeah.
Then that self-belief goes through the roof and the impossible seems possible. Yeah.
Facts. Like, can I tell a little story about that? Like, just that thing about self-belief and it can become possible. Like, I remember in school, like, one of the reasons I got kicked out was, one was because I didn't show up. The second was because I never did the work. And I just hated, like, speaking in front of people, like, public speaking. Like, I'll tell me English teacher, like, I'll do it at lunchtime. Like, I'll miss out my lunch just so I can try to get this assignment done by doing, like, just speaking in front of you, maybe like another teacher. But like I thought I could never publicly speak. I was like, in school I was I believed in myself and I got told I'd never be able to do it, and I had that mindset for so long and I avoided it for so long until one day I had belief in myself to give it a go. Then I was shitting myself. And like even to this day I get butterflies depending on how big the crowd is, but the more you believe in yourself and the more you do it as well, you start to see that things are possible. Because
it is an energy. So that energy of nerves and stuff, you can either work it for you or against you, but again, it comes down to belief. Like if you can channel it enough and use it as an energy for you, then, you know, you're stepping into your power.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and another thing I noticed is, like, for me, if someone says, this is for everyone out there, if they say, you know, you're this and that or whatever, don't look at it as a bad thing as well. Yeah. Like, you know, I've always thought I've been too sensitive, or someone said I'm sensitive, but a lady reminded me that you're not sensitive, you're very intuitive because you pick up on energy really well. Yeah. So again, to the people out there, like, don't listen to anyone else. If they say you're this and this and this, think maybe that's actually your power. It's the way you're born. Embrace it 100%.
Yeah.
Because the more you do that, the more you're comfortable in your own skin. You know, you're being authentically who you are, and then you attract the right people around you as well.
Yeah, it's like, because if someone tells you that and they gives you like a negative thought around it, it's just flipping the negative to a positive. Like, I'll try giving an example so people can understand. Let's say anger, for an example. Like, anger is seen as such as a negative emotion, when in fact it's a beautiful emotion as long as you embrace it in a positive way. Anger could be the biggest drive behind, or is the biggest factor behind drive. So, like, an example, like, I didn't want to go for a run last night, but I worked myself up to a point where I got angry energy and I went and fucking did it. So, you know, you channel that energy for a positive thing, and it's like that. It relates back to if someone tells you are something like this or you are this, and you feel like it's a negative, try and find the positive within it and use that to drive you.
Correct. Because it's a lot of the time it's what they wish they had.
Yeah.
So, you know, they wished, for example, you know, like they were, you know, sensitive, a bit more sensitive, a bit more kinder, you know what I mean? But they can't be that. So then they'll play on that like it's a negative for you.
Yeah.
So
wow.
just think about
true.
about those things. It's more about them than it's you when, you know, people are trying to pull you down. That's what I used to tell my staff is when at my old job is when someone was saying nasty things to them on the phone or whatever, I basically say, just remember, it's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
You know? Like, obviously not in a good place. Like, you know, they're lower level of consciousness, they're not in a great place, and unfortunately you're the one who picked up the phone. So
it's a good perspective to have. Like, any man listening to this, or even female too, relates to both, but let's just say you're in a relationship, because it's something I practice. Like, if my missus says anything that triggers an emotion or makes me feel a certain type of way, I don't project my negative reaction onto her. Instead, I just look within and think, like, what unhealed version of me is not healed yet? Like, what part of me do I need to work on to not be triggered by that or that train of thought? Obviously, there's some things you got to communicate, because it's just, you know, you got to communicate with your partner. But most things that I've found, that if I don't bring it up initially and straight away I think, what can I heal within myself to not feel that? I find myself feeling a lot more healthier overall, because I'm constantly working on my reactions in life.
Correct.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Important, yeah.
And you can trust them. Like, if they say something to you and you trust them enough to know that it's actually probably authentic, what they're saying, they're not trying to bring you down, that's when you start looking at yourself, because it has triggered you. But you're more like, hang on, okay, I trust this person, not out there to hurt me. They're actually being honest with me from their perception. Might not
That's
be
exactly
right,
it,
it might be wrong, it could be right, but they're coming from a kind of good place. And that's when you start looking inwardly. If it triggers, if someone's saying it from a place, you've got to look, okay, is that the right character that I want to get that, you know, feedback from? So take that into account too.
No, that's so true. Have you got any final questions for brother Steve?
No, I've been like taking in all this like knowledge, and it's so like good to have conversations like this. I love conversations like this. Like, it just awakens you, like something in you and your mind, and I'm just happy to be here. That's all I can say. And
again, just want to say thanks to you both, men, for creating this, again, a safe space. You create a safe space that, you know, you let everything flow. You're in that flow state where you can just talk and not think. You're not in your head, you're just talking from the heart.
That's it.
And that's what it is. It's creating that safe space. That's what I want the Dad's community is. I just want people to speak from their heart, man. Like, what's really on their chest, get it out. You know, get out of your head. Speak from the heart. What's going on? You know, like, that's where the truth is, from the heart. So, just creating a safe space is quite important, I do find.
100%.
And anyone listening, where can they find Dad's community? Where can they find you? How can they get access to you or your community?
Yeah, brilliant. So, look, several ways. Obviously through Facebook. You know, they can obviously Dad's community on Facebook. They can look it up, all one word. Also, they can message me once they join the page. They can message me through there as well and ask anything. My name's obviously Stephen Charlie Hirst. You'll find me on Instagram as well, under my name, Stephen Charlie Hirst. And just reach out. That's all I can say is, like, I'm an open book, open mind, open heart. And if I can help in any way, that'd be great. And look, like I said, you know, sometimes the teacher learns the most, and that's why I get excited about meeting people, because, you know, I don't know everything. I'm still fairly young, and you know, there's a lot of older dads out there have gone through heaps, and they've got so many experiences that they can pass on as well, that I can learn from. So it'd be incredible to meet these lads too, and learn from them. So Stephen Charlie Hirst on Instagram, Facebook, Dad's Community. You can send me a message through there, or just even write on the page saying, hey, look, you know, I'm after Stephen, and I'll see you on there, and I'll reach out.
Love it, bro. Love what you do. Thank you for coming on.
I'll link it all in the bio. Like Gowdy said, love your work, bro. You're doing amazing things. And I just got one more question. When's Dilf's community coming?
There's been a lot of jokes. But, you know what? It's not a bad idea. I've been thinking like bumper stickers for like DILF looking for MILF.
What was that acronym that we thought of it for DILFs? Dedicated and life fathers.
Yeah, dedicated life fathers. And I think you came up with that, brother. I thought that was a really, really smart analogy.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Acronym, I should say. I thought that was incredible.
No, you have to make the stickers now.
So we'll have to find a lady out there that can create MILF community, I think. I think. But yeah, look, if you can get some conscious men and conscious women that want to, grow and become better.
Yeah.
I think, they can be great mates, great friends, maybe beautiful relationship blossom out of it too, whatever it may be. Their children might get along, but
connection.
Well, at the end of the day, we can joke about these things. They can come true, and they can be an amazing, positive experience.
Definitely,
100%.
100%.
I've got other ideas with other cool things, but obviously I don't want to mention at the moment because I don't want anyone stealing it off me.
Keep it in the vault for now.
Yeah,
I like it. We'll have to get you on again for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
it's some epic ideas, lads. So. But yeah, just want to say to your men out there, to your dads, even the ladies out there, that you're all good people wanting to be a good mum and dad. Yeah, don't doubt that. Just get around the right people, find a community that you feel safe within, find some good friends, and just keep that sort of open mind, growth mindset. Be super kind, not only to others, but more importantly to yourself. Yeah. Because the worst critic in life is the one of yourself, yeah? If you look in that mirror, the only one's going to put you down is you, yeah? A lot of these thoughts or ideas that, sort of hold you back, these self-belief, is actually stuff that you've made up in your own mind. No one's actually told you this.
Yeah.
Facts.
So, yeah, just remember that, guys, that, you've got so much potential and you can be anything you want to be, yeah?
Wicked, brother. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Make sure you go check out Stephen's work, what he does, the Dates Community. Check all out in the bio. Subscribe to One Talk, and we'll catch yous and love yous.
Yeah.
Much love.
Much love, guys.